CBS and the SBA will fight to the end and lead the way, yeah. Sing out together. These are sky blue days. These are sky blue days. The CBS and the SBA will fight to the end and lead the way, yeah. Sing out together. Sky Blue Fans TV, for the fans, by the fans.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Sky Blue Fans TV. My name's Mark Smith. Tonight we'll be talking about the disappointing defeat at home to Norwich City, 4-2 we lost. Obviously, we'll be reviewing the game. We'll also be talking about the officiating at the Estes game, possible targets, the January transfer window, and just general chat around that. Tonight, we've got three guests joining me tonight. First guest I've got is what's I going to add him now? Claudio, how you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you.
Good. Yeah, not too bad. I think disappointed about yesterday, but kind of expected a defeat. I wasn't massively confident about that, but we'll go into that in a bit more detail in a minute.
Yeah, sure.
Also got Tony from Nation Radio Coventry joining us. I'm just going to add him onto the stream now. Evening, Tony. How are you doing?
Good evening. How are we? Hi, Claudia. Hi, Mark.
Yeah, good, thanks. Good to have you on. I think is this your debut appearance, Tony, on the podcast?
No, I was on once before. I've been on once
before. Okay, all right. So one away from the hat trick. So we'll get.
I couldn't make the last one.
No, fair enough. And last but not least, our ever-present Mr. Kenneth Stewart. Ken,
hello.
Good evening, sir. How are we doing?
Hello, good evening, fellas. How are we all? All right?
Yeah,
good. Bit of a disappointing weekend. Obviously, it puts you on a bit of a downer especially when you have an early kick-off and you got the rest of the day watching the rest of the results coming through. It's a bit of a downer, isn't it? When your team's lost and all the teams are winning. So
yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, let's crack on and move on to the game. So Claudio, start the game. Mark Robins' name's an unchanged side. Obviously, Jonathan Panzo. Obviously, the only thing that wasn't unchanged was the subs bench, which obviously we knew we had a couple of goalkeepers at the bench. Question I had though was Jonathan Panzo was available for selection. Could he have possibly started, or do you think you got that one right? You?
Well, I mean, I fully understood why he started with the same team because he even explained it after the game. The only thing I thought he might have done was changed it at half time and gone back to a three at the back. It just made our midfield a bit more solid because the whole second half was Norwich. I mean, it must have been 10 times he just ran straight through the middle. And there was just absolutely no support in front of the back line. I mean, they could have scored 3 or 4 more, really. I mean, they were wasteful in the end. And it's just a bit worrying because that's now, 3 matches. I mean, yesterday was a reversal of the Swansea game, wasn't it? Where, we conceded 3 in the last 20 minutes against Swansea. We conceded 3 in the first 20 minutes. It was an exact repeat. And of course, and the Wrexham debacle as well. It's too many goals conceded at home, and it's worrying. It's because it doesn't feel like it's going to change at the minute. I mean, away from home, it seems to be a bit more solid. So maybe we need to go back to being a bit more boring, and try not to concede because currently it's just a worry that they are conceding far too many goals.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, Panzo should have come on a lot earlier, definitely. Start the second half. After about 5 minutes, you could see what was happening. Just get him on. Because I think everybody in the crowd felt like there was going to be a 4th goal, and it wasn't going to be, it was going to be a 4th goal for them and not a 3rd for us. I think after 5 minutes of the second half, they had a couple of half chances. That was it. They just totally took control. And this is a team that have lost 10 games this season, Norwich. We've only lost 9 matches up until yesterday. So it's not like they're not beatable, which is what everyone tends to think they are. They've had a pretty poor season considering the players they've got. So I really felt we missed a trick there. Although my lad at the start the game saying, what do you reckon the score would be? And I've said, to be honest, obviously my heart says I want to win, but I can see us losing by 2 goals. So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I went 2-2 in the last show, but I was being optimistic by saying 2-2 because I just felt with the. I guess the only thing that's changed is the fact that Dean Smith's no longer manager. They have lost 10 games, you're correct, but they've got a new manager and they've gone on beating Preston 4-0, and that's a very, very impressive win. And I did fear the worst of this game. This was a game I looked at and I thought I just can't see us getting anything. Bearing in mind we've got not a lot of strength and depth on the bench. It was just a game. I just felt if we got a draw, I'd be absolutely delighted with that. So let's just talk about the carnage that was the first 20 minutes, although we did get a goal just before 20 minutes. First goal, Ken, from a corner. Okay, so the view I've got on this is I feel that someone's got to take ownership of that will come in the box. There's another goal now we conceded from a set play, like we did against Burnley, this time in swing corner. I feel Bidwell gets bullied out of position by Grant Handley. And I don't know, possibly could have Wilson have come out to try and claim it? I don't know. What was your thoughts on the first goal?
Well, it was a poor goal. Whatever way you look at it, it's a poor goal to concede. I did look back at it. Was that the one where it looked like Dabo got blocked on the replay? When it came over? Yeah, I mean, I didn't see that obviously in the live, but I seen it afterwards when I watched them back, and it looked like Dabo got blocked following his man, and that's what ended it, and then the ball ended up in the back of the net. But whatever way you look at it, it was a very poor goal to concede, and we tend to do that, don't we? We have been lately. It's just not good enough, really. That was very poor to concede a goal like that from you giving them a goal. You can't give teams like Norwich goal start like that. You can't do that because they'll just punish you. They're a good side as it is. They've got quality players all over the pitch. And if you just hand it, last week, the week before at Burnley, we were fantastic at the back. We defended brilliantly. We restricted Burnley to very, very little. And then we go and bloody concede 3 goals in the first 18 minutes. It's mad, isn't it? And they're 2 very similar teams, Burnley and Norwich. But Norwich did looked impressive, But I just felt we contributed to that because we made them look a little bit better than they probably were, but can we give them too much room? But going back to the goal, I think it's a very poor goal, Mark. Yeah, very poor goal to concede.
Yeah, I just thought it was just too easy for me, and that we've got to defend better. It's not good enough. I don't care if you're playing Norwich or you're playing Accrington Stanley. You've got to be able to defend a corner. And I know we tend to go zonal marking on extra corners as well. I don't know if that's a factor. I don't know. To me, it's just a poor goal. And, it was just, there you go, help yourself to a goal. It just felt like that. It was so soft. It was pathetic, really.
Yeah, and it's disappointing because the week before at Burnley, we were fantastic. We just restricted them to any, and then they were lucky to win that game last week. And there's no doubt about that. We should have got something out of it. But, and that just shows you the inconsistency, isn't it? The following week we're at home. I suppose we've got to be a bit more open at home, aren't we? So the way we play, I suppose. But even so, defensively we were brilliant last week, and then we're very poor this week.
Yeah, so. That brings me nicely onto goal number 2, Tony. So from what I remember of it, we get caught in a counter attack, and we got completely left open on the left hand side. Hernandez scores. What was your take on the goal from what you saw of it?
Yeah. I mean, I thought he was given too much room. He was a twist turn, and he's got a shot in. But you got to blame Ben Wilson for that goal. He should have had that. Maybe he was short. He was blocked a bit in his sight. I think it was Sargent that was in the front there, but. Having said that, he got a hand to it. Yeah. I mean, going back to the week before at Burnley, I thought, we're set up to play different away from home, and I think the onus is on us more to attack at home, and that's psychologically probably with the players. And they just ripped us apart. I must admit, I thought it was going to be 7 or 8 when the third went in, and then bingo, we score. No, that I just think he had too much room, and he shouldn't have been allowed to turn like that. And I think Wilson probably should have saved it.
Yeah,
Claudia, I mean, Wilson, for me,
Wilson just signed a contract as well, Claudia. I mean, do you think that's a deserved reward for his performance in the season?
Yeah, well, the thing is, we've got to keep hold of the keeper, haven't we? So I think they're all going to give him an offer a contract. Whether or not he's going to be a number one is a different things. We still need to bring somebody in as another keeper. It worries me because sometimes, from your goalie, you want consistency. You just want reliability as well. And he just feels like he's a bit nervous at the minute for some reason. That second goal, I mean, when you look at it, he motioned with his hand, and he almost palmed it in. It was weird. It was really weak hand. It was. That was a surprise.
Yeah.
And it's just, and the trouble is, it's like if you got a keeper that the defence aren't sure of, it makes the defence nervous, and vice versa. If your defence are not picking players up, it makes your goalkeeper nervous. And they'll start making rash decisions. You see at the top level, they come charging out because they don't trust the defence to pull the ball. And I think it's a bit of that at the minute. I think because sometimes we do look vulnerable, it's everyone panicking. They just need to sort of calm down, and be aware of what's around them and not be panicking all the time. Because, I mean, the first goal with the corner, I think Robin said in the interview, they'd got everything was set out. They got the plan. Somebody then decided not to do what they should have been doing, is what he said in the interview, and let the person go, whoever was meant to be marking, because somebody should have been on that near post. They obviously know where the ball's going, and there was nobody in that area to head the ball away. Because if somebody stood there, the ball doesn't get through. But apparently, two players were there, and they both missed it. So, in the confusion, apparently. But yeah, I don't know. I like Ben. I think Ben, put in some excellent performances before the World Cup break and all the rest of it. But since we've come back, the whole team haven't really been performing. So it's a reflection, I think, of how it's been going since we came back.
Yeah. I suppose bring out some comments here from our esteemed audience. Evening, Glenn Watkins, Scully Hub. It's simple. We defend better, do the basics right, so we're a match for any team. Well, yeah, that's can't say nothing against that. Sky Blue saying time to bring Liam Kelly back and go for a solid base until Fads is fit. Play Allen and Hamer in the box and give Palmer a rest for Saturday. We just can't afford to lose against Huddersfield, and we need to get a result to build on. What other comments we got? Official Flame Esports team. I'd like to see us go back to the wing backs with Brooke Norton Cuffey right wing back, and then Wilson, Esbrand at left wing back, pick from three from Rose, Bidwell, Panzo and Doll at the back three, Sheaf, Kelly, Hayback, Allen as midfield and Vic up top. And last comment, Glenn said, Norwich, the best team I've seen at CBS in a long while. Their front three is the best attack I've seen in the Championship. So, go again on Saturday against Huddersfield. My thoughts on the second goal, I think my criticism of Wilson is his positioning, actually, for the goal. If you look at the goal, it's almost like he's showing the Hernandez the far post. And he kind of goes that way. But as you say, it took a deflection. And I'm sorry, he's got to be better than that. He's got to push that away for a corner. And he did. His left hand was not strong enough. Equally, where was the marking for Hernandez? Why has he got the freedom of commentary to say, to have a shot at goal?
Yeah.
Norton Cuffey doesn't track back. He loses marker. We've got 3 or 4 defenders are getting sucked in, to the 2 Norwich attackers, I think, on the far right hand side, and we're just completely and utterly open. And time and again, we were getting ripped to shreds by them, and 2-0. And then we get to 3-0, Ken. And again, where was the marking for the third goal? It's absolutely abysmal.
Terrible. All 3 goals were very, very poor from our standard. I just don't know. And the confidence, you can see the confidence go a little bit, couldn't you? With 3-0, everybody was got 18 minutes on the clock, 3-0 down. Nobody expected that. I was going into that game quite confident, after the performance the previous week at Burnley. I was quite confident in that game that we'd get something from it. But they were just destroying us, weren't they? The people not doing their job. They had too much room. They were just cutting through us, weren't they? For so easy. It was just a shambles. It was a shambles, wasn't it? And then obviously we got back in the game, which is great. But to concede 3 goals in 18 minutes is at that standard is very poor. At that level is very poor, very very poor. I'm sure Robin's had something to say to them about that. It just looked so easy.
But you can't. It happens to any side at least once a season when you have that sort of. But it's the fact it's happened pretty much against Wrexham as well, Swansea and Norwich all at home. If they're away from home, we know from many years of watching us away from home many moons ago, we're shocking it. That could happen at any away game. But at home, you need to be solid. You got your fans there, we're getting the crowds back.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've heard Mark Robbins talk about the atmosphere in the ground, and sometimes it's a bit flat. Well, come on. 3-0 down after 18 minutes is going to be, what's it going to be? It's going to be flat, isn't it?
Yeah, everybody was deflated, weren't they, when that third goal went in?
Started walking out, didn't they?
Well, either walking out or going down to get a coffee or beer at half time, or before half time. Obviously, get a bit of warm because they watch it on the screen, couldn't they, downstairs? But yeah, it was poor, and nobody expected to be 3-0.
I think for the third goal, though, you've got to give Pookie some credit because he was strong and he was the man. He laid it on the plate for Sargent, didn't he? And it was an exquisite pass. But then again, and I also think Jake Bidwell, although played well against Burnley in the back four, he hasn't been used to playing there all season. So
no,
which means I think personally he should put Panzo back in. For the start yesterday.
I see what you're saying.
I can understand
where you're coming from. Yeah, I think what he was probably thinking there, my thoughts are probably because they played so well at Burnley defensively, and the whole team played really well. He didn't want to make any changes, and that's probably why he did it. But yeah, I would have personally probably put.
But if he was going to, if he's going to play that way, if he's going to play that way. Obviously, he set up at Burnley to play that way to contain Burnley's attack. All right.
Yeah.
But if you're sitting back at home and letting them come at you,
But at Burnley,
it probably doesn't work at home because the crowd would get restless.
But at Burnley, when he brought on Teller, that changed things, didn't it? That last 20 minutes, and it was a bit like yesterday. We started to struggle then when we had pace in the letters, and we didn't do anything to change it. And sometimes as fans, we've seen enough matches, you're thinking it's going to happen, and it did, didn't it? And yesterday, straight from the start, you're thinking we're not going to get out of our half here. We're getting absolutely massacred. I think the formation didn't work on the day, basically.
No. The trouble is we couldn't really change it because we didn't have the personnel to change it, did we?
Well, it could. I can't imagine him ever doing it after 15 minutes.
Two poor defences, I thought.
Yeah. I think at the moment.
I heard their manager went wild, didn't he?
At half time, he went mad.
There was one match, wasn't there, this season where Mark Robbins did make a change after about 20 minutes.
He put Doyle off, didn't he? Young Doyle,
when it wasn't working, and he just changed it. And he makes you wonder if not he could have done it sooner yesterday. But it's annoying because
I think it was the fact. I think there's a fact we got 2 quick goals back.
Yes,
yeah.
With that, I
thought the 2 goals.
We missed McFadden a lot. I think we lack that leadership at the back. We haven't got anyone. There just seems to be lack of communication at the back. And obviously, I'm not on pitch side. I can't hear what's being said. But to me, there seems to be a lack of communication at the back. Maybe a lack of communication from the goalkeeper, but we've got no leaders at the moment. Our best leader, McFadden, is injured, and we just don't seem to have anyone else. The only other thing we could have done yesterday is maybe have played an extra midfielder in Liam Kelly and played a bit, But then we're at home, But I think comparing Burnley and Norwich, I think with the Burnley game, we kind of sat back a bit against Burnley. We hit them on the counter. We looked a decent side. I think yesterday we got sucker punched by them on the counter, and they made us pay. And I don't know, there just seems to be lack of communication. And the goalkeeper, again, in my opinion, it was at fault for at least 2 of those goals today. I thought even the 4th goal they score, he's got to do better than that. He's been done in the near post. You know, that was a poor effort in my opinion. But moving on to our resurgence after the 3-0 going behind to 3-0. Jamie Allen scores a decent goal and a good cross from Norton Cuffy. I think it was headed on by from Vic, and a nice sort of finish outside the boot from Allen. I mean, my criticism of Allen in the past has been he hasn't scored, needs to score more goals, but probably on that front he's having a better season. It was a decent goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's 4 goals he's got now. That's probably as good as any midfielder we've had for the last 3 or 4 seasons. I mean, I think that's the one thing we have been lacking is goals from midfield. So yeah, I mean, he took it sweetly. It was well taken. I think Jamie's improved a lot, but I still think we need more in there.
Yeah,
definitely. We lack a bit of strength, I think, and it showed yesterday. Where I mean, Hernandez, we're bouncing off him at times. He's got massive legs on him. They just couldn't seem to deal with him. And it's sometimes that's what we need is a bit more strength, and less fear. You've got to go in and win that ball first, and that's what I feel basically.
Yeah, you're right there. We do lack that, but hopefully, Robbins we'll talk about that transfers coming in a minute. But hopefully, he's going to got some people lined up to come in because I agree with you there. We did lack a little bit of strength. Bit of leadership, and with McFadden being out as well, there's a young side out there, quite a young side really. To be fair, we just need a little bit of just a little bit of strength in there and know-how, and that's what we're lacking. And he needs to. I was very surprised nobody's came in last week, to be honest, but hopefully it will happen this week. But we definitely need some more bodies in the building ready for next week's game.
Yeah, I think from the interview I heard from Robbins yesterday, he did allude to the fact that he might have 1 or 2 irons in the fire. But obviously not going to give much away. So it'd be interesting to see what happens this week. But he did say that they're not going to, be going around throwing money at the problem. They're going to be quite, they're going to try and take their time and get the right person in. So
yeah,
it kind of sends a message. I mean, I know January is a hard month because teams, seldomly they don't want to, lose their best players. So it wouldn't surprise me to bring another loan, probably a defender, centre half, depending on when McFadden comes back. I've heard maybe middle of February.
I've heard Leeds United, Geldhart.
Geldhart, yes.
Has he gone to Wigan? I thought he gone back
They're on
to
about
Wigan.
Leeds United.
Oh yeah, I've heard that. Yeah,
he hasn't gone. It was just.
We're definitely not a striker.
That could happen, apparently.
Yeah. We have some more comments from our audience. Better B regarding Fantastic Dabo. Looks like Dabo was playing right centre back. I'm sorry, but never a centre back. Too small, too weak. Was caught out of possession on a number of occasions. Kyle Holly, Doyle was good at Sunderland, but not at City. Generally think he's the worst loan sign in the Cov shirt. I think he's going for a bit of a rough patch. I wouldn't say the worst.
Sure.
No, I'm not sure I agree with that. I think he's been, okay. I wouldn't say he's been fantastic, but I don't think he's not certainly not the worst player I've seen.
No.
I think with Dabo, I think possibly, that's where probably, maybe a Panzo comes in. I think he could have come in for maybe either a Bidwell or Dabo. But yeah. I think one thing I will say about Dabo is that he has been a really good servant for us. But I think in recent games, I think he's kind of lost that sharpness a bit. I don't know. I just feel he hasn't quite been the same player since his injuries. I don't know what your guys.
Well, he looked like he was struggling to me at times, Dabo. To get back and stuff like that. Maybe
looks like he's carrying weight, doesn't he?
Yeah, to me, he just don't look the same player. You know, we all know how good a player he was for us and how good a player he can be. But since he's had that injury, I don't think he's come back quite the same, you know, player as he was previously.
Yeah,
it's interesting that some of our fans think he was playing in the middle of defence when clearly Mark Robbins said we were playing a flat back four and he was the right back, which makes you wonder what's he doing coming inside all the time.
Yeah,
because it was Rose and Doyle in the middle. So I don't understand. Even my lad thought we were playing three at the back. I said, no, it's supposed to be a flat back four. So I don't know what's happening here. And he was coming inside, which meant Cuffley was like in the middle of nowhere at times, wasn't he? I mean, the poor lad didn't know who to mark.
He got caught out a couple of times, didn't he? Yeah,
and you can see Sheaf and Alan struggling to think, who are we picking up? It did seem really confused. That first 20 minutes, we were all over the place. I mean, it makes you wonder if not Ben Wilson, when in games like that, he probably should be further up his goal. He should be maybe on his goal line. Yeah, you see, when you know he's struggling with through balls, he should be on the edge of his 18-yard box, basically, ready to come out and boot it back up the pitch or something. Yeah, but it was confusing how some of our fans thought we were playing three at the back when Mark Robbins says we were four at the back. So,
I think the players were confused as well.
Well, exactly. Something wasn't...
If you look at the Sky Sports app, they had it down as 3-4-1-2, I think.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It
was strange. Yeah. Was strange, but you know, whatever it was, it didn't work, did it?
No.
It was a bit of a shambles, and
we
got the second goal. We got the second goal back in the end, didn't we? Made it 3-2. All our hopes sort of went up then, didn't they? At 3-2.
Yeah. Well, I thought I was convinced it was a Gyökeres strike, but when you look at the replay, it was actually
I did.
Palmer
I thought it was Big Vic.
Yeah.
Tony,
what's your thoughts?
And the half-time whistle come too quick.
Yeah, it did.
I thought he had a good. I thought he had a good game yesterday. Casey Palmer. Yeah, I thought he had a good game. I think he's improved. A brilliant shot, a brilliant free kick against Wrexham. He's scored in the last two home matches. I think because he's AD Vash was his coach at Chelsea. I think he's happy, he's comfortable playing here, and I think Mark Robbins is getting the best out of him at the moment. I think there's still more to come from Casey Palmer.
He's one player who can put a foot in.
Yeah, one player I am disappointed with is I don't think Michael Rose has been performing too good in the last few games. I think Rose probably needs a rest, to be fair, but we've got no one to put in.
Yeah, that's the problem we got, isn't it?
I suppose but it is what it is.
Yeah. But he can't do it at the moment because he hasn't got the personnel to do it, really. So, which is unfortunate. But yeah,
Palmer's probably one of our best players.
Yeah, I agree with that, Tone. I agree. I think Palmer's been fantastic.
Try to claim it, by the way.
Yeah, well, I heard Robbins afterwards in the interview saying he asked him, did you think it was Big Vic's goal or Palmer's? And Robbins said, well, I'll let you tell Big Vic it's not his.
Let you tell him. Yeah. Yeah.
But
can't blame him,
he deceived a lot of us because I automatically thought it was Big Vic. But when we all seen the replay, you can clearly see it come off Palmer. So... But whatever, it was 3-2.
I thought it was an amazing finish from Vic. I thought,
he hit it as Vic was turning.
Turning like that. I thought he kept it down for once because he normally goes going over the bloody bar.
He had that cracking shot before half time where it just went over the bar, didn't it, as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And say Norwich do concede goals.
I think half time come too quick, really, didn't it?
Yeah. And if we would have got another goal, you never know. But
you say we can. You say we conceded 3 goals in the first 18 minutes. Well, they conceded 2 in 10 minutes. So I mean, both defences were a bit shambolic in the first half, and their manager apparently had a go at them at half time.
Yeah, so, I heard he did. Yes,
I think both defences were, and they tightened up in the second half, Norwich.
They did. Second half was.
I think.
Second half we saw it a little.
Yeah, I thought end of the first half we finished half the stronger side. It was one of them halves. He's like, if we'd had a couple more minutes, we could have maybe got an equaliser sort of thing. But I think the half-time whistle came at a really good time for Norwich. And then second half, I thought Norwich was superb. We couldn't get the ball off them second half, and they were what they did really well was they were passing their way through us like knife through butter.
Yeah,
it was we were literally chasing shadows a bit. I felt they had a couple of good chances before they actually got the fourth goal, and I just felt we really struggled. You know, with 3-2 down, you might think second half could we then sort of have a go at Norwich, but no, it wasn't like that at all. I thought Norwich were fantastic on the ball. We could not get a foot on the ball, and the fourth goal gets scored, which was unsurprising really. I think my only comment about the fourth goal, I think Rose gets beaten too easily. He's got to put a tackle in. It was pretty poor, and Wilson, in my opinion, is at fault. You know, it's in his near post. He's got to push that one to the corner. You know, why is that beating on near post? I think any keeper, if they get beaten in their near post, they've got to be pretty annoyed about that, really. And I thought that was a really disappointing goal to concede, and again possibly avoidable. But you can't deny the fact that Norwich were far superior to us yesterday. Their class told in the end. I just felt. I mean, a comment here from D. Fetter about the players looking shattered yesterday. Obviously hoping to bring a centre back attacking me and striker. I mean, the fact that people are saying we look shattered, to me, that to me, I have to question their fitness. Then we should be fit. We should be able to compete for 90 minutes. I don't buy that argument personally. You know, that's just the only thing I could say in the players' defence is that we haven't maybe got the options on the bench to influence a game. We haven't got that sort of. That's one thing I will say. But to say they're shattered, I don't know. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh, but I just feel
The five subs are going to favour the clubs who have got better benches, basically. I mean, we could bring 5 players on. They may be got a bit more breath inside them, but it doesn't mean it's actually going to improve the team. This is probably Robin's dilemma. Whereas, you look at Burnley last week, you can bring on you're thinking, oh, fantastic. We can't do that. We've got nobody to do that. That will make a difference.
Yeah, and Claudio, you got to remember that the last 2 weeks we've played 2 teams with massive budgets.
Yeah,
they've got parachute payments. They've just come down from the Premier League. They're up and down. They've got all the money. They've got a lot more money than we have. Their wage bill is a lot higher, and they can afford to have players earning a lot of money sitting on the bench. Where we haven't got that at the moment. We are where we are, and we're building. Obviously, hopefully get there one day, but. At the moment, we're not there, and they are because they've got the guaranteed money of the parachute payments coming up and down, haven't they?
I mean, last season we clawed back so many points, didn't we, in the last 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Where we looked really energised. The amount of late goals we scored. We pinned back teams and got goals. We don't look like we can do that this season.
No.
I mean, is this the O'Hare factor as well? The fact is, because that lad did turn things around for us. He may have not. He may miss some 3 yards, but he did create a lot around the area.
Yeah.
In some ways, he's one of our first line of defence because the lad does work hard off the ball.
And he brings space. He creates space for others, doesn't he?
Yeah.
You might have 2 players on him, which takes players away from other players, which creates space, obviously. So, O'Hare missing is a massive blow.
We're not going to see him now until September, are we?
No. And I mean, we got Godden, O'Hare, and McFadden. They're 3 massive players who would normally start every week, wouldn't they? Them players,
pretty much,
and they're all missing. So that's a big blow for for any team.
I think this shows obviously Doug King's first game and all that. I think it shows the size of the task he's got as the new owner. There's a lot of work to do, obviously on and off the field. I think if we can get maybe 2 players in between now and the end of the month, it would be great. Maybe Geldhart, that has been mentioned before from Leeds, would be a start. I haven't got much of an opinion on him personally as a player, but obviously he's got a decent pedigree because clubs in the Championship are wanting his services. So he's obviously got something. There is something about him. We desperately need a defender who can organise the back 3. We lack a voice, I feel, at the back, a leader. you know, I think for me this season, me being slightly pessimistic, I don't want us getting dragged into a relegation battle. I'm not really bothered about where we finish, as long as we're above the bottom three. I know it might sound negative. I just feel at the moment we're a team. We desperately need help. We need players, not just any old players. We need good players, and that's down to Dean Austin and partly Mark Robbins and that to identify those targets. And then I feel, you know, next season is very important because you look at next season, you've got a lot of players out of contract, and there's a massive rebuild job to be done. So I think we've got to give, you know, Doug King time and patience as well as Robbins and Austin. But I feel these next few games are critical because I look at next week against Huddersfield. It's a massive game now. If we don't, I feel if we get 3 points, I feel a lot happy about things. I'm not even thinking about playoffs. We're not good enough for playoffs. I think, you know, if we lose Huddersfield, then I'm starting to panic a bit because I look at games. You've got West Brom, you've got Luton at home, you've got Millwall at home. They're all teams that are around the playoffs, and they're all tough games. And I really feel next week is a massive, massive game. We've got to win against Huddersfield, in my opinion, because I look at the next 3 games. I'm struggling to see where we're going to get a win from, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'll probably agree with you there. We do need to get 3 points against Huddersfield. We got, you know, we have played some top teams over the last couple of weeks, so and we played well in one game and not so well in the other. So you know, a bit of a mixed fortune really. But yeah, I'm quite confident on the day. Listen, on the day we can, and we all know we can beat anybody at home. I think on the day we're a good side, you know. But they've got to be on it, you know. They've got to be on it, and they've got to be, you know, with it. And this wasn't with it at all on Saturday for whatever reason. I just thought we could have put a better performance up there against Norwich. I mean, okay, they are a good side, Norwich, no doubt about that, and they'll be up there. They'll be in amongst it all, won't they? At the end of the season, no doubt about that. They've got quality players. But at home, we normally perform quite well against the good, you know, the big teams, don't we? In the past, we have anyway. And I just thought we'd let ourselves down a little bit, you know, on Saturday by the defending and sloppy goals we give away. So, you know, but that's football, and hopefully this week we might improve with a few new bodies coming in. I was going to bring up about the refereeing. Now, we've got a couple of referees on here now. What was Claudia? What did you think about the refereeing on Saturday?
On Saturday?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was awful, I thought.
Yeah. I don't think we've had... there aren't many great ones, are there, nowadays?
No.
I don't know whether or not it's down to the fact that players can get away with a lot more in terms of hitting the deck all the time. But my main bugbear is just time wasted and how they don't stamp on it at all. You know, we get a free kick, and we probably do it to other teams, and there's always one player who wants to knock the ball away, and the referee does nothing about it. I mean, there was loads of pulling back on Saturday and little niggly things. You're thinking, well, surely that's a foul, and then he's let it go, and then it goes on 10 yards, and then we do it to them, and they get a free kick. You're thinking, well, what haven't you seen? You know, it is poor. He was poor. I mean,
he was poor,
but it's not the first. I mean, I watched.
No, and that's what concerns me. I don't know whether the standards have slipped or whatever. Tony, what did you think about the ref? Being an ex-ref as well yourself?
Yeah, I think. Well, as you know, Sean Massey done the line to me.
Yeah.
I think the standards have dropped. I don't think. I think they're told what to do by a lot of the time. You have to let that go. You know, because you get the assessor. He's in the change rooms with them before the game. He's in there at half time, and he's in there at the end. And to a certain extent, they're told what goes and what doesn't go. But I seen Vic was held back quite a few times yesterday, and nothing was given.
No,
you know, a little push in the back, and nothing was given. I don't know what it is. I mean, when I used to go out refereeing, I used to just do it, and as you do, Ken, you do it as you see it. You know, I used to be in there, hey, free kick that way. Don't argue with me, free kick. You know,
and we haven't got the the quality of having like other officials and you're on your own on a Sunday sort of thing, aren't you? If you're at the weekend, unless you've got a semi-final or something like that.
Yeah.
Normally,
well,
9 times out of 10,
dangerous Sundays.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10 you're on your own.
Dangerous Sundays.
Yeah, it is dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even Saturdays you're on your own. Sometimes you've got to make a decision.
I mean, you take the youngsters now that are coming through. They're to do the refereeing, and they're on 14, 15 years of age, and they go and referee an under 13s or under 12 game, and the parents are on there swearing at them.
Yeah,
it is absolutely ridiculous, and that's why there's a shortage of referees, because if they're on there back at that age, that don't cost money. It costs money at Cov level.
Yeah,
I thought. Yeah, I think looking at yesterday,
but they have been poor.
Yeah, I thought the referee to me didn't look that fit. If that's the biggest criticism I can say of him, because there was one incident in the first half where Gyökeres was brought down, and everyone on the whole ground could see it was a foul. He hasn't given it, and then I think it's around the 35th, 40th minute of the first half, around that sort of time.
Yeah.
How that's not been given?
And they have to do fitness tests. They have to pass fitness tests.
Yeah, I've been a referee myself. I was a level 4 referee, so I know exactly what you do to pass it. But do you do the bleep test? Do you do the bleep test? The bleep test used to be in, didn't it? Yeah, they do the bleep test. That's correct. Yeah, but to me, I have to question his fitness. I didn't think he looked particularly fit yesterday. I don't think his assistants
helped him,
supported him as well as he could. I think you're right on the time wasting. I mean, obviously, what we've seen recently with the World Cup and the amount of minutes that have been added on, I think that might be a feature that will come into play next season. I don't think that's something that the EFL or the Premier League are looking into right now, because they've started the season that way, so that they're not going to change it just based on a 2-week World Cup, on a few weeks World Cup tournament. But I think that will change, and I think. I'm critical of my team because I feel that we don't do that. We don't play the dark arts of football. We tend to sort of be too nice about it. Whereas
we don't.
When other teams are ahead against us, they use the dark arts. They do everything they can to waste a bit of time and to stop.
Do you know Rotherham were probably one of the worst teams this year to do that down in CBS. Yeah, Rotherham, they were really bad at it.
I remember Swansea last season.
We got to go there in a couple of weeks.
Swansea last season was incredible. After about 5 minutes, they were sitting down. They were sitting down more than I was. It was ridiculous. It was unbelievable. Every time the ball went out, and then somebody would go to throw it, and they wouldn't throw it, and somebody would put it down. I was thinking, I can't believe they just let them get away with stuff like that. It's too obvious, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, get a yellow card out. Let's clamp down on it. But they're not clamping down on it. Did they get told off for putting the yellow card out? I don't know.
Is it an EFL thing that there's only one match ball? Because obviously Premier League matches have got balls all over the pitch, haven't they? They just chuck them back on again.
I think wasn't one of the match balls not that you had to stop play because the match ball was not the right pressure.
Yeah, but what I mean is normally they've got balls all around the ground, haven't they?
The multi-balls. I think it's down to the home club to decide whether they want to use a multi-ball system or not.
Because
they should have that. Obviously, we decided not to.
Because that would certainly
we had no money, did we?
Because I mean, not to have a go at some of our ball boys and ball girls, but sometimes I think they're half asleep, aren't they? Maybe it's the game that puts them to sleep. The ball goes off the pitch.
Yeah.
It's like, where's the ball gone? Who's not chucking that back on again? We need the ball. But anyway, I just think that it wouldn't hurt to have more balls around the stadium and keep the game going.
Yeah. And that's probably something they could maybe bring up. But I mean, I know in the Premier League, it's down to the home club, I think, to decide whether they want to use a multi-ball system. It's got to be agreed before the game and stuff like that. Whether that's the same for the EFL, I'm not 100% sure, but I presume it'll be a similar sort of thing. But yeah, we obviously haven't got that in progress. We just
can't afford more than one ball, do you think?
Probably, yeah. We haven't got enough balls to start with.
I mean, the referee yesterday was Josh Smith, and I looked to his performance yesterday. And one of the things about refereeing is your diagonal and making sure you try and get as wide as you can in diagonal so you can spot the infringements a bit better. And I felt, being an ex-referee, I felt he was too narrow in his diagonal. So consequently, when you're too narrow in your diagonal, you miss things. And that example when Gyökeres was fouled, to me, he didn't look like he could see it, and that's his fault for that, because he's got to get in a better position in a wider diagonal to see that infringement, and he didn't see it, and then Norwich get away with one.
But then you've got assistant there to help him. Mark, why didn't he flag? He should have been there to help him if he wasn't up for play.
But
the two of them.
But a lot of the assistants this season have tended to look at the referee for the decision.
Yeah,
because they're not sure, so they're looking at the referee, and the referee will go under his body that way,
But it depends on the instructions as well. It depends on the pre-match instructions. Because as an assistant referee, you can only go by what the referee is telling you at the start of the game. So there has to be that good level of eye contact. Simple things like throw-ins. At the halfway line where you can see the assistant
they can talk through their earpieces, can't they?
Yeah, they're all marked up, aren't they? Yeah, so
they're marked up so they can say
communication.
I don't think there was many yellow cards, was there yesterday? I think it was one from Norwich. The Norwich player kicked the ball away. I think we had a throw-in.
There wasn't many bookings, no, to be fair, but I mean, we don't like having to go. It's a hard job, We've all done it. We've all done it, and it's not nice when it's not nice doing it, especially at a local level when you're getting abused all the time.
Ken, that'd have been no good to Larry Watson, would it? Eh? No,
he can guarantee he had 5
he had at least 4 in the game.
Every game.
Oh, sorry, I was too short.
But we just
he refereed. Do you know he was assistant referee at the cup final?
Was he?
1990, Larry Watson. Yeah.
Oh, was he? At Wembley. Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Crystal Palace v Man United.
Oh, well, yeah, I remember the cup final. Yeah.
That's the days when they were allowed to make a decision, weren't they?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now, of course.
That's what's changed.
Yeah, now of course you've got VAR and everything, haven't you?
I get the impression that they're just to signal throw-ins and offsides, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like nowadays.
Well, it does. I mean, I don't know if you're. How about what's your decisions on VAR here? Would you like VAR being brought into the Championship, or would you rather keep it as it is?
But apparently, in the Premier League, there's been 42 goals given that wouldn't have been given without VAR.
Right.
So, in that respect, you probably think that's a good thing. But it depends. The VAR is okay. It's the people who are operating or making decisions behind the camera.
They still make mistakes, don't they? Yeah.
I know. I mean, there was a couple today where, in real time, you're thinking, well, that's a penalty. And then they show it, and the commentators go, no, definitely a penalty, no penalty. Thinking, well, it's a penalty. It's definitely a penalty. So that's the
last Arsenal goal as well. The last Arsenal goal.
Yeah.
That went to VAR, didn't it? The last Arsenal goal today.
That it did, yeah. And he looked a bit suspect at one stage, but obviously they looked at it.
You got the first phase, second phase. I mean, it's complicated. I mean, imagine the season where we got 11 goals after 90 minutes. What an anticlimax they would have been. That we're all cheering. You got to wait for about 3 or 4 minutes sometimes, and then you can pick.
At least the good thing is we know we score in the Championship. We know it's going to count if the referee gives it. So in that respect, I mean, I am in favour of VAR a little bit, but anything to help the referees, because obviously they've been poor this season, and if they need a bit of help, then they need to bring it in. But we don't want it. We don't want it delaying the games, do we? That's a big problem, and people hanging around waiting for decisions. That's the problem.
I think it's just come in really because of all the scrutiny on TV, because there's cameras everywhere at the big games.
Yeah,
you can see every angle, and it's put the referees under pressure, hasn't it? Because we know for years. I mean, I've got a photograph of that famous goal that Clive Allen scored against Coventry in 1980.
They hit the bar against Crystal Palace.
Oh, yeah, and you can see the ball at 2 feet in the.
It hit the stanchion and come out.
Exactly.
It went in, didn't it? It went in.
It flew out, and we carried on, went straight up the other end, and then we're still, protesting. And
I was at that game, and I
think from that game, that's where they changed the stanchions in the goal, so less likely it would bounce out. But
yeah,
you're never going to get those sort of games, are you?
no,
if you got the VAR, it would have been a goal, you know. It's and of course England may have not won the World Cup in '66.
yeah. And then we had that famous Frank Lampard one that was
The
miles
Frank
over the
Lampard
line.
one, which is,
Yeah,
and that's when I think FIFA went, yeah, we need something, because that was
I have to
just
look at
terrible.
this.
I mean, how on earth? Well, the referee and the assistant missed that is incredible. Really, that is
Yeah.
poor. That is poor.
That was poor.
Yeah.
I mean, if we missed out on the Sunday League, we'd get,
Oh.
we'd get crucified. You know,
Yeah.
so you can imagine it missing it in an important game like that. Are you in favour of VAR, Mark, or not?
I am if it's used correctly. I think the World Cup proved that it was used quite well. I think where it can be improved, as Claudia alluded to earlier, is about communication. You know, goals. I mean, that's the only thing. It kind of kills the goal, doesn't it? You score a goal, everyone's up celebrating the goal, and then you got to then wait. And it's kind of like, I guess it's like cricket, I guess, isn't it? When a batsman is out and then the batsman reviews it, and you've got to wait about an eternity for it to be made. So I think with football's a much more free-flowing sport than cricket. Cricket's a much more stop-start sport. I think it works better in cricket because it's a different game, obviously, a completely different game. Yeah. I just think it is. I think, but Claudia's spot on. I think it's not so much the VAR; it's the people that implement it and make decisions. And I think it needs to be handled better. What I will say is the World Cup, I thought it was used really well. I thought the officials during the World Cup, I thought every VAR decision was spot on. So it proves it can work. It's just a case of how it gets implemented and how the referees come to that decision. The only thing I would say about VAR is, we talk about it in Championship, but then, League One, League Two clubs will say, well, why can't we have it? And where do you draw the line on it? So, and then and also another thing to add is the FA Cup. If you're playing the Star in the FA Cup, they get VAR.
Well, that's wrong. I think they should have it.
If the Championship team are at home to a Premier side, you don't get VAR. So to me, that's there's an imbalance there, really, in my opinion, which is
well, there
wrong.
is, because it's supposed to be a level playing field, and it's not obviously 11 play. It's not. It depends on what ground you're playing at, doesn't it? What stadium you're at. So really, they should have it all or nothing. They shouldn't have it at all. If it's not available at every ground, then I'm afraid they shouldn't have it at all. And I think that's wrong, having it in the FA Cup at certain stadiums and not others, because it gives a goal could be allowed at one ground and the same situation at another ground be ruled out. And that's not a level playing field, is it?
Exactly.
Are you in favour of VAR, Tony?
Neither yes nor no, really. But basically, I think we're going to get it eventually. Because I just think if it happened to Coventry, all the goals we scored would get disallowed, right? And every team that scored against us, they'd allow it. That's what would happen. That's our luck. But obviously, it's hard to say. Some situations, I agree with it. But like Mark just said, where do you toe the line on it? League One, League Two will want it. Then you'll get the National League, and it's expensive. So maybe at the moment, just leave it in the Premier League.
Possibly, yeah.
Do you want to finish off the podcast? Just moving, sort of change the subject a bit about question here from official esports team about, are we in a relegation battle, or is that a complete overreaction from our fans? We'll go to you, Claudio. Is that an overreaction or not?
Yeah, we're 4 wins from safety. I think we only need another 12 points. I don't think whoever goes down is going to get 50 points this season. I think if we get 4 wins quickly, we're safe, basically, starting with Saturday. We only need 47 points, maybe something like that. Yeah, another 12 points, we're safe.
Kenneth?
Yeah, I agree. I think there's worse teams in this. Worse teams in this league than us. A lot of worse teams in this, and I think we're a couple more wins, and I think wins. We've got to bring the players in, obviously, as well. And I think if we get a win against Huddersfield and another win probably against Millwall or something like that, then I think we'll be all quite reasonably happy, because I think we've got the players to survive. I think we're good enough to survive. And we can't allow ourselves to be sucked into a relegation battle. And I think Robins will sort that out by bringing the players he needs in over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. Tony, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll easy stay up. We've got to. I think we still got to play. We've got a Huddersfield as well to be rearranged. Sorry, not Huddersfield. We still got to play. We still got to play Rotherham away. We've got Preston, Blackpool. Blackpool are in the bottom. Well, they were. I think did we win 4 yesterday or something. I don't know, but there's plenty of points there. There's plenty of points there for. Did Blackpool? They won, didn't they? Did they yesterday?
No, Blackpool's called off. They went to play.
Called off. Yeah.
Oh, that was it. That was it. Called. It was Stoke that won 4-0. I think we've still got play Stoke as well, haven't we? There's plenty of there's plenty of points there. So I think we'll be fine. I'm just concerned at the fact that Mark Robins said prior to Doug King's takeover, he said, "I'm just waiting for the takeover to happen. I've got the players all ready to sign." But obviously something's gone away AWOL with them. So maybe he's got some more lined up. Who knows?
Well, he was alluding to.
So he did
getting involved, obviously, and how they think you're awash with money when you get a takeover. So maybe people are holding out for a bit more, maybe. But we all know he needs to bring a couple in.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we'll be safe by Valentine's Day.
I think he needs 3. I think he needs a Callum O'Hare replacement, central midfield. I think he needs central defender and he needs a striker. I think.
Yeah, I agree. That'd
be me. That's what I'd say.
Yeah,
I think we'll stay up. I'm fairly confident that. I just feel I think when you come off a game, we've got one win in 8, which is concerning. It kind of begs the question: when's this next win going to come from? Huddersfield, I feel, is a good opportunity to put that right. But then I look at games like who we played previously. Cardiff at home, drawing 0-0 was a poor result. Now, Bristol City at home 1-1. We need to get at least one win from them 2 games. And even Burnley, I know we lost to Burnley, but we should have got a draw against Burnley, really, because
both games.
We could have got a point from Burnley, and when you're looking at 39, 40 points, and then we're not having this conversation. So I think we will be, but I think we do need to strengthen. And I think that it's an important week this week, off the field and on the field. Off the field because we need bodies, we need good players to come in, be it on loan or permanent. And obviously, I'm hoping that he will bring some players in, because I think he did mention that in the post-match interview yesterday. And Huddersfield, as I say, is a big game because Huddersfield are struggling. We get a win against them, that puts us 12 points clear of them. And then as you say, we could be safe by Valentine's Day, as Claudio says, but we can't afford to lose against Huddersfield. That's the thing. If we lose, then we're getting sucked into trouble. So the fact that you read the comments, players are knackered and all that doesn't bode well, because we can't be. We need to be in situations where we can bring players off the bench and influence the result, and we can't do that at the moment.
Yeah.
So that's my main concern. It's just, for me, I'm not even thinking about playoffs. I think playoffs is not happening in years. I think the only way we'd have got the playoffs is if all our best players were fit, available for selection, and I'm full. But unfortunately not. And I don't think we'll be mid-table this season. I think we'll be bottom half of the table. And that's not okay. You'd say on paper, overall, it's not been an improvement from last season. But I think, given the turmoil with the off-field issues, I think it's some crumb of comfort for me.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, if it weren't for the injuries, I think we probably would have been up there amongst the playoff teams, because it's a very tight league. There's not you put 2 or 3 wins together and you're up there, aren't you? You think, oh God, we're in the we've got a great chance.
I think we're only about 7, 8 points.
Yeah, there's not a lot in
I
it.
think we're only
Really.
7-8 points off it.
But you need a little bit of luck, and we haven't had luck with injuries. So we maybe due a bit of good luck. I don't know, but we haven't had much luck lately with injuries. We've got some good players out injured at the moment, which is affecting us. So hopefully our luck will change. Robbins will bring a few players in, and you never know. He might string a little run together and sneak in the playoffs. You just don't know. You don't know what's around the corner. There's a lot of points to be won and lost. But at the moment, I'll be happy to finish in mid-table, and after the season we've had, anything more than that will be a bonus for me. But you just never know. You never say never, and it's quite a tight league. And apart from Norwich and Burnley, there's not much difference between any of them teams in that league, is there? Anybody's beaten
Norwich, but Norwich is.
I say Norwich, yeah. Norwich look good, but Burnley looked, they look like they're going straight back up, didn't they? And Norwich are going to be up there. I think they're going to be in the playoffs. Norwich, they're just getting their feet back together again. But apart from them two teams, I don't think there's a lot of difference between any of the rest of them, and we can beat any of the rest of them teams.
I think there's definitely three worst sides.
And you've got
Wigan obviously being one.
Birmingham are struggling big time at the moment as well.
Yeah, I was going to say Birmingham. Birmingham started the season well, but they've gone off the rails. Cov City, a very poor side, probably one of the worst teams that I've seen at CBS this season. I can't say I've seen Blackpool apart from the fact they beat us, which is annoying. But obviously they're not doing too well. But they brought in Josh Bowler, I think, from Forest on loan.
We've beaten Sheffield, Watford.
Yeah.
We beat Middlesbrough at home as well.
West Brom. Beat West Brom.
Yeah, and Blackburn.
Blackburn.
So we can do it on the day, but it's consistency with us, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then, of course, we lost to Blackpool. So
yeah, that's why you need a little bit of luck along the way, and obviously with the injuries.
I just think
problem.
It's the injuries and Callum O'Hare, because he links the midfield and the forwards, and he puts them little passes through, and that is what's missing at the moment, along with the injuries. So you said it earlier, Ken. That's what it is.
Yeah, without a doubt. Massive blow for us.
But it is what it is.
Well, let's keep the faith.
We've got to get on with it.
Yeah, we've got to get on with it, and we've got to bounce back next game. And let's see what this week brings. Hopefully, a positive week. Want to round off the show and say thanks to our guests, Claudio, Ken, and Tony. Thanks for coming on tonight. Thanks for everyone watching tonight. Thanks for posting your comments.
No worries. Pleasure.
It's great to have you on, and look forward to have you on again. Our next show will be on Thursday for Huddersfield preview. We've got a Huddersfield fan lined up to talk to us. Ben Dixon is our Huddersfield fan. He'll be joining us on Thursday, and then we'll obviously have another show on Sunday. Hopefully, we'll be talking about the win this time. It'll be a much more happy podcast tonight. So thanks everyone for watching. I'm going to play you all our sponsors and then our end of show, wrap it up. So thanks everyone for listening, and we will speak to you again on Thursday. Good night.
Cheers, clap, Scott.
2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Play up, Scott, please.